Today's show is sponsored by the Electric Vehicle Association. Join up to support the electrification of transport and get the help you need to finance your own EV or clean energy future. And by Energy Sage. Visit the link in the description to find local, verified solar experts, community projects and heat pump specialists in your area. And by Atmos Financial. Bank better with a financial technology company that's powered by a portfolio of clean energy investments. Welcome back to another episode of TEN, the Transport Evolved News. Thanks for joining me. We're starting today's show with a bit of a news update on a story we covered last week, namely the sudden closure of NLX's charging services in North America. And to give you an idea of just how quickly things are changing, I've had to write this portion of the script multiple times because just as we were about to film, NLX surprised everyone by announcing a sale of its assets, including its charging services, at a sale later this month. In the meantime, a truly massive open source community effort has been underway to ensure that nobody is left behind, called juicerescue.org. A full disclaimer, I'm personally involved in that project as a JuiceBox user and supporter. While the news of the sale of the charging services caught everyone off guard, it does at least suggest not all hope is lost. But personally, my faith right now is in the open source rather than the corporate world to fix this. Don't forget to watch our live stream from earlier this week on exactly what's been happening. On Thursday evening in the US, Tesla held its highly anticipated reveal event for its fully autonomous robotaxi future vision. Front and centre was the Tesla Robotaxi, officially now called the Cybercab. A two-seat vehicle with no manual controls, Elon Musk called it individualized mass transit and claimed that it would help eliminate parking spaces, operating at an adjusted cost of 30 cents per mile. Musk also claimed that Tesla would sell them to private customers for under $30,000. Admitting his own optimism on timeframes, Musk said Tesla would start fully autonomous robotaxi operation using Model 3 and Model Y next year in California and Texas, with a planned start of production for robotaxi of 2026. Tesla also unveiled the Robovan, or as Elon Musk called it, the Robovan, a 20-seat autonomous minibus straight out of iRobot. An update was given on Tesla's Optimus robot, which Elon Musk now says will cost less than a car. The event had plenty of hyperbole and promise, but it's worth noting Tesla has historically overpromised and underestimated complexity at these kind of events. As is often the case with Tesla reveals, I'm sure we'll hear more details in the coming days. Sticking with US automakers, we're heading to General Motors next, which held its annual Investor Day this week, and during the event, it made some big EV promises. First off, we learned that GM is officially retiring its Ultium nameplate for EV batteries and platforms as part of an effort to make EVs more profitable for the company. How does dropping a name make it easier to make money? In a word, sourcing. Ultium specifically relates to batteries GM co-developed with LG Energy Solutions, and in moving forwards, GM says it wants to diversify its battery technologies and cell chemistry portfolio with a particular focus on shifting away from NCM cells toward LFP. And at that same event, GM President Mark Royce said that will allow GM to sell the next generation Chevrolet Bolt EV for the same price as its predecessor, while simultaneously being profitable for the company. While some analysts and futurists are starting to grow disillusioned with eVTOL craft, Joby Aviation was celebrating a new investment this week from Toyota. While Toyota had previously invested in Joby Aviation to the tune of nearly $400 million, this new investment of $500 million will help Joby work towards bringing a competitive eVTOL air taxi service to market. But what's particularly of interest here is that unlike most of its competitors, who have primarily focused on battery electric airplanes, Joby has been working on a hydrogen electric eVTOL craft through its subsidiary H2 Fly. Given how enthusiastic Toyota is on the future of hydrogen fuel cells, its newest investment in Joby was, I'm sure, influenced by H2 Fly's work. It's well known that vehicles in the US and Canada are, on average, far larger and more dangerous than they are in other parts of the world. And for the most part, other countries are increasingly reluctant to see an increase in availability for these kinds of vehicles. But this week we learned that just like its rival, the Ford F150 Lightning, the Ram 1500 REV electric pickup truck will be heading to select European markets. Due to launch in Europe by the third quarter of next year, Ram says that it will offer best-in-class towing, driving range and payload capacity, but like the F150 Lightning, it's likely going to be a niche purchase as it's very much oversized for the majority of European buyers. It's also important to note most European fleet vehicles are vans rather than pickup trucks. Personally, despite owning an F150 Lightning, which is primarily used as a crew vehicle when we need to haul massive amounts of people and camera gear, and which is replaced by a small hatchback or two-wheeler on my own fleet when possible, I think we need to end the focus on massive EVs and focus on small, practical ones instead. For the past few years, Tesla has been ramping up production of its 4680 form factor cell, a cell that it says is far superior to the 2170 cells it replaces. A few weeks back, we told you that Tesla had just celebrated producing its 100 millionth 4680 form factor cell, and this week we're hearing insider rumours about what lies in the future of that cell, with claims made that Tesla is now working on 4 different variants of the cell for different applications, each with their own specific cell chemistry and dry-coated cathodes. Codenamed NC05, NC20, NC30 and NC50, these cells will each suit a specific task within Tesla's vehicle lineup, with NC05 expected to feature in robotaxi, Cybertruck and Semi. Meanwhile, NC20 and NC30 are destined for mainstream Tesla models, with NC50 rumoured to be the highest performance cell variant for vehicles that require large current draw. Recent fears about electric bicycle battery pack fires in the UK has led eBay to announce that, as of the end of this month, it will ban private e-bike sales on the platform in the country. While eBay hasn't confirmed a similar ban in other countries, there's been mounting pressure on regulators in the UK to restrict e-bike sales after a high-profile case involving a man who was killed while sleeping after an e-bike battery pack caught fire. And data published recently by the London Fire Brigade says that e-bike fires has risen by 78% year over year. Prior to this week, eBay had implemented audits of sellers to make sure that bikes being sold had CE certification, but now says it will restrict sales of e-bikes and e-bike batteries to, quote, eligible business sellers, end quote, without specifically detailing what would be required to qualify as eligible. Watch this space. Motorsport has always been a fantastic way of getting people engaged in a particular brand or type of vehicle, and for years automakers have used competition-spec race car variants of in-production cars to drum up consumer interest. This week, Škoda unveiled its latest in a long history of high-performance vehicles based on production cars, but this time it's all electric. Enter the Enyaq RS Race, a rally-prepped all-electric coupe concept that, despite being a concept vehicle, is actually capable of showing the competition up on the racetrack. As part of the reveal, Škoda let its Fabia RS Rally 2 driver Oliver Solberg out on the track to showcase just what it was capable of. Complete with hydraulic handbrake and 340 horses, it sets the groundwork for a future where EVs outnumber ICE vehicles on the rally course. I cannot wait. This year, we've been watching the slow unravelling of Fisker as it first found itself halting production, then declaring bankruptcy, and this week we've 2 more updates on the firm. First, it appears that the sale of Fisker's remaining unsold vehicle stock to leasing company American Lease, won't happen. The reason? American Lease is not able to transfer the information connected to each Fisker Ocean to a new computer server not owned by Fisker. Without being able to transfer the information, those vehicles can't be operated after Fisker's liquidation, and as such, the company has filed an objection to Fisker's current liquidation plans. At the very same time, the US Securities and Exchange Commission has filed an objection to the same, stating that Fisker's plan includes a prohibited non-consensual third-party release. The SEC has also confirmed it's in the process of investigating Fisker's books and records. I'll keep you posted. Finally, for the segment, some good news, specifically that the International Energy Agency now believes that renewable energy could meet almost 1/2 of global electrical demands by 2030. In its just released Renewables 2024 report, it projects that by the end of the decade, renewable energy capacity worldwide will grow by more than 5,500 gigawatts, about as much power as currently produced by the US, China, India, and the EU combined. The really good news is that while some governments are still dragging their metaphorical heels on policy, renewable energy is now by far the cheapest option for new power generation capacity in many countries, and that fact is driving a massive growth in renewable electricity investment. The only fly in the ointment is the need to expand electrical grid capacity to deal with the impact of massively distributed renewable energy generation, something many countries are now starting to take very seriously. And on that note, while our short shorts are coming in a second, a way for our US audience members to expand their own personal renewable generation capacity with our friends at Energy Sage. Energy Sage helps homeowners connect with local verified solar installers across the US and now heat pump specialists in select markets who really know their stuff and can help you navigate the process of installing solar panels, help you join a community solar program, or get a heat pump installed. I used Energy Sage when we were looking for installers willing to help us put solar panels on the roof of our home, and our Energy Sage verified installers were professional, knowledgeable, and even put us in touch with an amazing credit union that allowed us to finance our solar panels for as low a monthly payment as possible. Follow the links below to sign up for either of Energy Sage's free, no-obligation services and get that ball rolling today. If you choose to use an Energy Sage installer for your project, we will also get a small referral fee, so you'll be helping the channel too. Help the grid get greener, save money, and support us? It's a win-win-win. And now it's time for short shorts. Porsche has issued an international recall campaign for certain Porsche Taycan EVs due to potential manufacturing faults in the LG Energy Solution battery packs used in the cars. According to Porsche, a fault in manufacturing can lead to a short circuit and fire. Tesla has issued an official recall to address a problem with the rear-view cameras on all Tesla Cybertrucks. While it is pushing an over-the-air update to rectify the problem, the rear-view cameras on some Cybertrucks weren't appearing within the 2-second window required under federal regulations when the vehicles were put into reverse. While Uber is now rolling out some autonomous vehicle choices for customers in select markets, it has data that says 1/2 of its customers it suggests a robotaxi to, such as a Waymo robotaxi, say, no thanks. It suggests there's a long way to go before people trust autonomous vehicles. Hyundai has officially started US production of electric vehicles in its new facility, the Meta plant in Georgia. It started building North American spec Ioniq 5s with other all-electric models due to join it in the near future. General Motors has officially announced an expansion of its energy products with the GM Energy Power Bank, a stationary battery product that can work alongside its EV charging hardware in customers' homes. The GM Energy Power Bank essentially cross-shops against Tesla's PowerWall. Honda has confirmed that while it will be bringing a production version of its 0 Series electric sedan to market, it won't be a mainstream volume model. Instead, the high-tech EV, complete with air suspension, LiDAR and much more, will be very much an expensive Halo EV for the brand. Talking candidly this week with Autocar magazine in the UK, the CEO of Mercedes-Benz's performance house AMG said he believes that existing customers who came to the brand will have no problem swapping a V8 engine for an electric drivetrain, primarily because people come to AMG not just for the drivetrain, but for the tech inside the car. We learned this week that BMW drivers who had hoped to gain access to Tesla's supercharger network in North America may be in for a longer wait than they'd originally hoped to gain access. According to reporting this week, access to BMW drivers will likely happen in late 2025. Honda hosted a special event at its headquarters in Japan this week, where it showcased some of the technology it has planned for its next generation of EVs. While some of this focused on the aforementioned 0 Series models, Honda also teased a roadmap for much more affordable ones. If you've been waiting to get a Tesla Cybertruck but didn't have the money to put down for a Foundation-series, you might now want to know that it's begun selling non-Foundation-series Cybertrucks to those who want them. They start from just under $80,000. Meanwhile, in the US, Volkswagen has officially switched on its online configuration tool for the upcoming ID Buzz. There's not a lot of choice of models, but prices start from just under $62,000 and go all the way up to $72,000 or thereabouts. In addition to celebrating the start of US production of the Hyundai Ioniq 5 this week, the firm was also celebrating a new partnership with Waymo that will see Hyundai produce specifically modified Ioniq 5 cars for use in Waymo's Waymo One robotaxi fleet. Prompted by massive discounts caused by overstock at dealerships across Aotearoa New Zealand, EV sales for the nation soared in September compared to the rest of the year to date. 874 fully electric models got sold during the month, up nearly 50% on the year's average. Volvo may have pulled back a little on its plans to go all-electric by 2030, but it's one of 49 companies urging the European Union to not change its target for a full and complete ban on the sale of all new gas cars by 2035. Rivian was also on the list of signatories next to Volvo. About Energy has opened what it says will be London's most advanced battery test facility. Located south of the Thames in Southwark, the facility aims to become a world-leading headquarters for state-of-the-art battery testing, catering to a range of transportation needs. Zeekr has officially opened up its sales in Norway, with the Zeekr 001 shooting brake, otherwise known as an estate or a station wagon, now available to buy in the country alongside the Zeekr X, its compact SUV. Sales will launch in other European markets shortly. The Spanish Ministry of Industry has announced that it will be giving Stellantis €133 million of subsidies if it builds a new battery cell production facility in the country. It's also increased funding available to Volkswagen PowerCo's battery facility by 50%. Renault has unveiled a new technology demonstration vehicle called the Renault Emblem. It's a plug-in hydrogen hybrid fuel cell vehicle with a 40 kilowatt-hour onboard battery pack combined with a 30 kilowatt fuel cell stack that Renault promises will be fueled by renewably generated hydrogen. Reports out of Europe and South Korea suggest that LG Energy Solutions and Mercedes-Benz have reached an agreement concerning Mercedes-Benz using LG Energy Solutions battery packs in future vehicles. It could come into effect in 2028. Toyota has announced a new joint venture with a local Indian subsidiary that will see it begin to build a new production facility in the Delhi-Mumbai Industrial Corridor in India. The facility will focus on producing both electric and hybrid vehicles for the domestic Indian market. Tesla has unveiled a new variant of its Model 3 for the European market called the Maximum Range Rear-Wheel Drive. It promises a WLTP test cycle range in excess of 702 kilometres, that's 436 miles per charge. Talking of long range, Peugeot is now officially selling long-range variants of the E3008 and E5008. Unveiled last month, the new longer-legged variants of each vehicle will begin deliveries in launch markets across Europe very shortly. Rivian has officially lowered its production estimate for this year. While it had spent most of the year forecasting year-end production numbers of 57,000 vehicles, it's now lowered that to between 47,000 and 49,000. Toyota has officially pushed back the start of production of a planned 3-row electric SUV for the North American market. While it originally planned to begin production next year, the production start has now been pushed back until at least 2026. Nissan has joined rival automakers BMW, Ford and Honda in the ChargeScape joint venture. It's a jointly owned project designed to allow for smart charging capabilities for software-enabled vehicles from the member automakers. Earlier this week, a few days before Tesla's robotaxi unveiling, Waymo announced that it had hired Tesla's head of vehicle programs. Daniel Ho joined Tesla in 2013, but now will be working at Waymo on its autonomous robotaxi fleet. Helped by sizable discounts on its vehicles during the third quarter, Lucid set a new delivery record for the company, delivering 2,781 cars. Lucid has now officially beaten its 2023 sales figures with one full quarter to spare. Fortescue Zero has announced its first product to enter into production at its brand new advanced manufacturing centre in Detroit, Michigan, will be a high-voltage marine battery pack made using its scalable battery module technology. In related news, the company also announced a new battery charging system for its massive all-electric mining trucks. Unlike the DC fast charger it showed last year at CES, which peaked out at 3 megawatts, this one can do double that at 6 megawatts. Porsche has announced a new investment in Varta battery subsidiary, V4Drive Battery. It's a company focused on large-format cylindrical lithium-ion cells. The investment, currently undisclosed, makes Porsche the majority shareholder in the company. As we've covered plenty on this channel, BYD has its sights set on North America, and this week it confirmed it plans on selling 100,000 electric vehicles in Mexico next year, with goals of opening its first manufacturing facility in the region soon. If you're a Ram pickup truck owner and you'd consider switching to a Ford, which, let's face it, the memes on the internet suggest would never happen, Ford is willing to give you an additional $2,000 off the cost of a brand new F150 Lightning. Meanwhile, Tesla has just announced a return of its 0% financing offer for customers who buy a new car in the US. However, in order to get the deal, Tesla customers also have to purchase FSD Supervised, which adds a significant cost to the sticker price. Deliveries of the Volvo EX30 have officially started in Canada. While you can't buy Volvo's cheapest and most compact EV in the US, it's already got Canadians lining up to buy one, and based on how well it's selling in Europe, we didn't expect anything else. US charging network EVgo has announced that it's received a $1.05 billion conditional commitment from the US Department of Energy under a low-cost financing program designed to help it add DC fast charging stations to community locations. Even though the EU has now voted in favour of tariffs on Chinese-imported EVs, negotiations are still underway to try and make them more favourable. This week, the EU rejected a proposal from China to not sell imported EVs in the EU for less than €30,000. And finally for the segment, Uber confirmed this week at its Go Get Zero 2024 conference in London that it has more than 182,000 EVs operating on its platform. I know at least a dozen Uber drivers with EVs. How about you? And those are your shorts. There will be more next week. Our final two stories are next, but first, a quick word from friend of the channel, Atmos Financial. Imagine a bank where your savings not only grow, but also go towards growing a greener world. That's exactly what Atmos Financial does for you. With Atmos, every dollar in your checking and savings account is funding projects that light up lives with solar energy rather than fossil fuels. Atmos is banking that builds a better tomorrow with every swipe of your card today, because it's committed to investing 100% into clean, equitable and sustainable progress. With a competitive savings rate and a mobile app, your finances and the climate go hand in hand. It charges no monthly fees, and there are no minimums keeping you awake at night. It offers accessible solar loans for those who want to give the fossil fuel industry the ultimate middle finger. By joining Atmos using the link below, you're not only choosing a smarter way to bank, you're planting seeds for a healthier earth. And since every sign-up supports this channel, it means we can keep bringing you the content you love. I'm personally a customer, and I love knowing that I'm helping save money while making sure that my savings don't end up funding the fossil fuel industry. Thanks to Atmos for sponsoring the show. And now it's time for those last two stories. And if you've watched this show for any length of time, you'll know that I am a total fan of classic cars, and classic cars converted from suck, squeeze, bang, blow to whee! Personally, I prefer DIY converted cars like the one Gavin Kiwi EV Shoebridge is doing right now. He's converting a classic Austin Allegro to all-electric. But I've also got to admit I love seeing a good, no-budget spared resto mod of a classic car. This week, Kia in the UK followed in the tyre tracks of many an automaker making a retro-themed EV, and aided by bespoke EV conversion specialist Electrogenic, it's converted a 1990s Kia Pride to all-electric power to celebrate Kia's 80th anniversary. It might not be a Land Rover or a Jaguar as per Electrogenic's usual specialities, but it looks the part, and it takes me back to the 1990s when I was a spotty junior in high school. And finally, it has been impossible this week not to see the true breadth of destruction left behind after Hurricane Helene and more recently Hurricane Milton passed over the southeast of the US. But while there have been some truly horrific news surrounding the devastation, and some truly despicable things being said and done by those seemingly more interested in disinformation than helping folk, including from some folks in the EV world, we heard some amazing stories this week of EV owners helping keep essential things running when the power went out, thanks to their EV. Some of you have reached out to let us know that you've been able to use your EV to keep things charged and powered. And as several outlets covered this week, one veterinary clinic was able to keep essential equipment running by powering their facilities from the back of a Ford F150 Lightning and the vehicle-to-grid capabilities of a Kia EV9. It, yet again, shows that EVs have some major advantages over internal combustion engine vehicles. But if you are dealing with the aftermath, please stay safe. And if you are not affected, please consider donating to the relief efforts. And on that note, we're done with today's show. As always, a massive thank you to the Electric Vehicle Association for sponsoring today's show. They've been advocating for EVs since 1967 and firmly believe that our future depends on us making the switch to clean, green electric cars today. The EVA can help you find someone near to you that can help you make the switch to electric. It can help you become an EV educator, and it can point in the direction of monthly meetups for like-minded EV fans. Plus, if you become a member, you'll gain access to a clean energy and EV loan program set up between the EVA and the Colorado Clean Energy Credit Union. Find out more by heading to myeva.org. And thanks to Energy Sage. Follow the link below to find out how easy it can be to get verified, trustworthy solar experts helping you make that step towards energy self-sufficiency, either through solar on the roof of your home, by joining a community solar project, or by getting a heat pump installed. And thanks to Atmos Financial. Bank better by following that link below. And of course, if you are someone who made your own transportation or energy greener this week, whatever it was, good job. Congratulations. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can consider supporting us from $1 a month on Patreon, which is about $10.08 a year, or by in fact visiting our swag store. We do have a new special Halloween design in the shop, as well as the one I'm wearing, which is from last year. We are viewer supported because we believe the information we produce should be free for everyone. So if you do support us, thank you. You make all of this possible. I'll be back next week as usual with content going out every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. To finish, remember that you are valid and you are loved and you have a place in this world, regardless of what rich idiots, religious zealots, large companies and greedy politicians say. Know that your existence is resistance, and that resistance, if you are able, can be bolstered by making sure you're registered to vote this year in your US election. That is, if you live in the US. It's part of the democratic process to have your say after all, regardless of whom you vote for, and regardless of what a certain person has been attempting to claim online this week. So, until next time, stay safe, regardless of your identity or who you love. Be an amazing ally to others, be kind, and please, for the sake of everyone's future, keep evolving.